Oh, g'day scrappers. Yeah, I've had a lot of requests lately about people wanting to see me doing more scrapping videos of the stuff that I'm picking up in street scrapping. So basically, yeah, quite a few people recently have been asking for me to, you know, process some of the stuff on video that I pick up. So I've been meaning to do things like that, so I thought, well, okay, I might as well make a start and try and do one video through the week of me processing a couple of items, or you know, something of interest. So I might as well make a start today, and but instead of just picking out one item, I thought, well, this is the scrap that I picked up yesterday. So I thought it might be a good idea to just start off by just showing you how I process things as I bring it out of the van, because this is a process in itself. It's about separating the scrap steel to the pieces of steel that I like to keep, and cutting cords, and just working out what to keep, what to sell, what to scrap. So that's how I thought I'd just start this little series off. So it'll be through the middle of the week sometime, probably like a Thursday video, where I just yeah, kind of do this. But so this time it'll be just me emptying this van, but in the weeks to come it'll just be picking out a certain item. It might be like a refrigeration system, or a fan system, or just something unusual, or might be a unusual computer, or could be anything, you know. I've got the curved television that I'm going to do when I've got a bit of time, so just things like that. So I'm going to make a start now and just start emptying this van, and just, again, like I said, work out what I want to keep, what is just scrap steel like that. So and just how I kind of do it here. And yeah, so obviously scrap steel is the first thing that goes out. I want to, you know, obviously you want to get rid of your scrap steel as quick as possible, but there are a lot of items that need to be scrapped out first, like microwave ovens and stuff, before we take it to the scrapyard. And we also use the microwave ovens to fill up with junk. So there's a couple of microwaves there. They've been scrapped out, and they're full of scrap steel pieces and things like plug ends and all that. So I get maximum weight for the space that they take up when I take it to the scrapyard. So it's just a matter of throwing it out, and they weigh quite heavily. And yeah, so right now it's just about removing everything out of the van, or if you've got a truck or a trailer or whatever you have, and just sorting stuff out. You know, like things like that. That's a monitor base. It's no real use to me, but this actually, it looks like aluminium, but it's actually plastic, and so that's just scrap steel. So I'll leave the scrap steel always out the front here, so once I'm ready, then I can just load it back up into the van and take any other scrap steel that I've got and get rid of it. And yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing today. And I thought, because I've got a full van of scrap that I need to empty out, I won't actually process anything today, but I'll just show you kind of what I do. So like, obviously we've got a PC, so it's a partially scrapped out PC already, but it's still got the motherboard and the CPU there. So I just put PCs aside, stack them up, and I enjoy doing PCs, so I'm in no hurry. I'll just do one at a time, or whenever I feel like doing a couple of PCs, I'll scrap them out. These are obviously all junk PCs. Any good ones I'll put out into the garage there. And So as you've seen from my videos, I really love my barrels, and so in here for now I just throw the small bits in there. That's basically what I do, is just separate everything, and that's kind of what you want to do. You know, some people scrap and they'll go straight to the scrapyard. If you're into e-waste, then it's not really a good idea to take it straight to the scrapyard, because you know, like this box, you know, half of that stuff is stuff that needs to be scrapped out. So I've got to sort stuff out. Like, here's all the DVDs and stuff that I've got stacked up, and these will all get scrapped out when I want downtime. I don't want to work hard, so I really enjoy scrapping these DVDs. So I'll do a few of these. I'll have a DVD session and a set-top box session one day on video. You know, it's kind of also, you know, the most fun in street scrapping is actually going out there and picking it up, you know. But this is probably the most important part, to you know, give myself a chance to scrap everything out, you know, remove everything from the van and really sort it out and make sure that I'm not throwing out anything that's got better value than scrap. You know, when I get another tub out, I'll put all the cords in there, because the cords are the first thing I like to get on top of. I found that if you build up weeks worth of cords, it's you know, cutting the plugs and processing the plugs and all that. If you do like 500 plugs in a day, your hand, well, my hand is stuffed for 3 days. So yeah, some of the stuff that I picked up, like this is all just modems, and so all this I want to keep aside and work out what I want to do with it. But yeah, I've got a couple of really good, see, like these things here, these are, if I took this load straight to the scrapyard, there's very little scrap steel that I'm actually throwing out. A lot of the scrap steel I'm actually keeping, but this here, these are aluminium, but they're worth a lot more than just scrap aluminium, because they're the side panels of a ute or a truck, and so these are universal. You can put these on any truck that's the same length, and so these are just yeah, it looks like it's from a long truck, so that's the short part from the back, and then there's a longer bit from the front of the tray. But you know, you can always sell this kind of stuff. So, and you know, worst comes to worst, if I can't sell it and no one wants it, you know, I can always send it to scrap aluminium. But yeah, these kind of things I like to keep. They're huge. What are they? They're about 8 foot long, them ones, and the other ones are 6 foot long. So that's, yeah, a 14-foot trailer. Yeah, so it's a light vehicle, commercial doors. But when I picked them up, I was really surprised that no one else picked these up. Maybe they just didn't notice them, and it just looked like, to be honest, when I saw them on the side of the street, they did look just like scrap steel panels. They didn't look like anything. So I'm really glad I I looked closely and picked them up, you know. And I like my fluorescent light housings, as you know. So inside there's really not much to them. It's mostly scrap steel, and that's okay, you know, because scrap steel has money. But this is how I prefer to pick up my scrap steel. So as you can see here, everything is steel, and so once I scrap it all out, it all becomes scrap steel at the end. So I don't need to pick up a whole lot of scrap steel, because I get a lot of scrap steel just from scrapping out e-waste, you know. And yeah, and these fluorescent light housings, I just enjoy scrapping them out because they're really easy, and I like to do them during downtime, you know. So we just got, you know, a couple of wires running through, so I just cut the wires, I unscrew the ballast, put that in transformers, you know, and just finish off cleaning out the wires, and that's it. And then the housing just goes straight to scrap steel, and I've got my transformer, I've got a little bit of wire. Yeah, so these are the things that just take too long to do at a scrapyard. So always best to bring it back and unload, you know. Sure, some people have trailers where if you're, you know, your mission is just to get scrap steel to cash in, then yeah, if you've got a trailer, you can throw in all your scrap steel at the back and, you know, just leave that separate so you don't have to touch it again, you know. But as you can see, I don't have a tow bar, and this van is just too old to put a tow bar on it because it's done a lot of miles. So yeah, next van I'll have a tow bar. So this is a slow process, but it's not the kind of thing, you know, I'm in a real rush to do. I've got nothing else to do today, it's just a down day. So all I do here is, you know, a lot of these set-top boxes, we don't use these anymore because now we've got digital television. So all I do is, just to start the process, I cut the cords so it's stacks up neater. Old DVD players. There we go. Ready for scrapping. And the cords ready for processing. All I really do, you know, obviously here we've got to get mid-grade insulated copper wire, we've got to cut the plugs off. So when you cut the plugs off, don't cut the plug off here, okay, because you're missing out on some weight here. All they really want is the plug cut off. So I go right to this last crease here, cut that off, and so now we've still got the wire running through. It's classed as a, you know, mid-grade insulator wire now. It's had the plug cut off, and now we're left with just the plug. There's still copper wire running through, but we can't really get that unless it comes out with the prongs. So then all I do is just cut off the prongs. Okay, so we've got our 3 pieces of brass, and you might think, oh well, what's that? That's not much. But it does add up. When you start filling up a bucket, you see how heavy the bucket is. You got, you know, get some serious value out of brass, you know, along with all the other things of brass. And so we've still got a bit of brass in here. There's copper wire still running through it. So there is still value there. So that's why I throw this into scrap steel. And I don't feel guilty about it being mostly plastic, because they do get value out of it by having the brass and the copper still in there. So scrap steel, and that just goes in brass. Just so I happen to have some there. That's what I do with them. PC. You know, after a while picking up PCs, like I've been recycling, you know, computers and e-waste for a long time, so I kind of know what to keep and look at and what not. You know, I can see here it's kind of like a little bit older, it's got a little floppy, you know, but it's a Pentium 4. It's not like a vintage or anything like that. It's just straightforward, so it just goes straight onto the to be scrapped pile, and we process that another day. You know, microwave ovens. So first thing, just to save getting tangled up, I cut the cord away and I bring it in and stack it up with all the other microwaves. And there we go. So that'll be scrapped out. What I do with microwaves, as I said, I use the inside cavity to put in scrap steel and stuff. So I don't like to do microwaves all at once. I prefer to do one each time. And so when I scrap it out, I leave it at the bench. I start filling it up with scrap steel. When that's full, I put it over the side and I'll get another one and just use them as scrap steel bins. And so here I picked up these Venetian blinds. They can get a bit awkward. It wasn't bad this time, but they can really tangle up and really mess with the load. But now, you know, technically you can take the tops off, clean them up, but because they've got string running through and all that, they're classed as dirty aluminium or irony aluminium, so you might as well just leave this metal part. It's also probably aluminium, but there's a bit of metal in there. But yeah, so that can go straight into your irony aluminium bin, and I've got irony aluminium here ready to go. So that's why I picked them up. Normally I don't really bother picking up Venetian blinds because I just don't get enough to make it worthwhile doing a separate trip for them. And like I said, they get tangled up, but this time I took them. So cords I'll just put aside. Okay, so again, this is a piece of aluminium, and all we need to do is just remove these caps off it, and we can put this straight into regular. It could, you know, technically it might even be like a, yeah, no, this is a pressed aluminium, so it's just domestic aluminium. So again, we need to process that. A little set-top box, cut the cord. Obviously we'll get the rest of the cord and the wiring once we scrap them out. And yeah, so that's it. That's kind of what I do with as I'm unloading. And like I said, this is just the start of a new series, just to give you a heads up on what I'm going to be doing through the middle of the week. It's just obviously I won't be doing this on video. It'll be just processing some of the stuff that I picked up from that weekend, you know. So it might be a bunch of DVDs, a couple of PCs, and things like that, you know. And yeah, and like irons, I got a few irons this week as well. And so once again, I just cut the cord off. This is just scrap steel. Cut the cords, and again, irony aluminium, because this is all aluminium, and it's most, you know, this one's got quite a lot of plastic on it, but we'll still get away with it. We've got a lot of other irons. So dirty aluminium, irony aluminium, whatever they call it, goes with Venetian blinds or any other irony aluminium. And yeah, scrap steel. If it was in better condition, this is a stake, you know, I'd keep it, but it's just a really old rusty one. Modem. got this big gate, you know. So again, this isn't scrap steel because because it's a heavy gauge steel mesh, a good frame. This gate is quite valuable, you know. You know, you go and buy one, it's, you know, they're expensive if you go and buy something equivalent, or even to make it, you know, it's, you know, it does cost a bit. You've got to get the frame, and because it's a heavy solid gate, I'll keep this and I'll put this out the back for another day. Let me scrapping table. Lots of things going on here. So in this case, I'll put it right at around the side of the house, and it's out the way. And as you can see, I've got quite a lot of good steel here. You know, long, heavy steel bars, pipes. I keep a lot of you know, steel bars pretty much here and in the back of the house. So here there's nice Rio mesh cage. So this is just another piece. So these are just all offcuts or just steel bars that I'm going to use one day for whatever reason, angle. It's the only place that I've really got left where I can stack it, apart from right at the back where the behind the chicken shed. You know, just last week, I think it was Thursday, I took in this wheelie bin of cords, and already it's half full of cords ready to go again. So cords really do build up. That's why there are professional cord cutters out on the streets, because they do make good money just cutting cords. So here we've got scrap steel. Okay, so this piece here is aluminium, but it's not worth taking off, because then I'm going to lose all this rubber and stuff. So it's not worth the work trying to undo these rusty bolts to get this little bit of aluminium, you know. And it's not going to go as irony aluminium because it's mostly iron. So this goes straight into scrap steel. At least they're heavy. Any circuit boards, just put aside. There's another one. Yeah, another PC to be scrapped. I've picked up a few of these rounded bar frames. Yeah, I think I've got red ones and blue ones, white ones. Now I've got a black one. I don't know why, but they just, I like to keep a few. They might come in handy one day to make a frame out of something. So cords are everywhere, and yeah, I don't really need to, you know, have a separate bin just for cords, because I find that I don't end up filling it up. It just gets messed up with everything else. So as I'm taking stuff out, I just throw the cords at the side, you know. Or nice barrel. Always happy with my little barrels. DVD. Yeah, so I'll just keep going here. Just wanted to give you a little idea on how I kind of process stuff and how I look at stuff. So this really nice long bar Okay, sure, we can send this to scrap steel, but in my case I want to keep it because it's worth a lot more to me as a bar than it would be to get the dollar for scrap steel. You know, to buy this bar it might cost $20, so I'd rather keep it. Can always throw it in scrap steel another time. This is a jump starter. So it's a jumper starter, and usually when you've got jumper leads, this wire here can be really good copper wire. So we just want to take off these plugs. That's just scrap steel. So in here we've got pretty good copper wire. It's quite thick, so I don't sell this as like number 2 copper wire. I prefer to strip this, you know, and I just skim with a knife. Just do it slowly. It's not really, they're not really huge pieces, but we do get good copper out of these. When you see jumper leads, always worth getting and stripping the wire. And in here we should have like a transformer or something, so we want to scrap that out. Give you okay, so in this case a lot of the screws look really rusty, so we might not be able to get in. We'll see. Might be just one. There's always one that doesn't want to play the game. Okay. Oh, sorry, did I say transformer? A lead acid battery. So there you go, you know, so we've got good value out of a good lead acid battery. Still got some wires, so obviously the cable is still thick copper wire running through, and got some smaller wire, but the value here is this sealed lead acid battery. We put that with all the other car batteries, UPS batteries. Good money for them at the moment, so I'll process that later. Okay, yeah, so, and you know, like here we've got these light housings. So again, we've got a fluorescent light ballast, really good. We need to scrap that out. And also we've got aluminium, so 4 different items here. So this is why it's too complicated to take it to the scrapyard and start emptying stuff out, because we've got aluminium, scrap steel, insulated copper wire, and a transformer ballast. So 4 individual items in one. All needs to be scrapped out. This box, I must have just, yeah, it's just I don't even want to go through it. It's just rubbish. So I don't know why I took this box. I must have thought it was like an electrical box, but it's just scrap steel. So that can go straight back in when I refill. So more fluorescent light housings. You know, get little things like this, and you know, obviously from a burner. It's cast iron, so we get heavy gauge steel for this. Here in Australia it's 27 cents a kilo, so almost twice as much as scrap steel. I did find a motherboard loose on the street. I don't think I got that on video. So yeah, barrels galore. I love my barrels. Okay. So this barrel here, at the moment, it doesn't look very, yeah, I have to put the lid on it and tighten up the lid, and because it's a little bit warped, and after a couple of months it'll come back to shape. But all I'll do with this barrel for now is I'll throw in all the cable so I can take that away and process it. Got a little smalls in there as well. Yeah, so that's it. It's not really a processing video as such. It's more of me processing stuff out of the van, but from next week, that's what I'll do. Is I'll just start processing some unusual items that I've gotten out of the pickup for the week, and yeah, it should be hopefully it'll be interesting. So here we've got extruded aluminium, right? So as far as scrap aluminium, it's about the best aluminium, best value that we get, aside from aluminium wheels. Yeah, so all right, well, I won't make this video long. I'll just keep going here, removing. As you can see, there's a lot of cords, a lot of stuff to a lot of cords to cut. DVDs. I even scored a big car radiator. I didn't get that on video. There you go. So I've got a whole bunch of microwaves to put aside. I'll just cut the cords. I've got a CRT monitor that I'll process. Got some stuff at the front. Yeah, and so that's all I'm going to do for the rest of the morning, is just empty everything out, and then once I've sorted everything out into their grades, into their categories, then I can start scrapping some stuff out and working out what I want to keep, what I don't. But pretty much everything apart from steel bars I'm going to scrap out eventually. So yeah, alright guys, well, I better get to this, and yeah, didn't want to make a long video out of this. So keep scrapping, have fun, and look out for some more scrapping videos, street scrap videos from next weekend, and then once a week through the middle of the week I'll be doing a scrapping out interesting items, and that should be a bit of fun too. Alright guys, catch you next time.